लाईव्ह झाला काय करायला लागतो पोलशेट्टीवर सर?
सो आय हॅव टू कनेक्ट विथ युट्यूब सर. याचं मी झूमला कनेक्ट केलंय आपल्या.
ओके ओके ओके.
या. So there's an option in more, go live. Yeah.
Okay.
You can go to make it on Facebook also,
okay.
As well as other media channel. LinkedIn also you can get it done.
Okay.
So Amos, I think we can start. 9:59 is there.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome all the participants for second day of workshop on global pharma regulatory affairs, jointly organized by MITWPU University and Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I request Dr. Polshettiwar sir to start the video.
Yes. Just a minute.
Learn what matters at MITWPU.
There are rapid changes as well as evolution in healthcare patterns and healthcare regulations by local, international, and global regulatory affairs agencies. Compliance to regulations is paramount. This has created a need of well-trained regulatory experts in the areas of pharmaceuticals, medical devices, biotechnology, herbal, nutraceutical and food science, clinical regulations, and pharmacovigilance. With this realization, MITWPU has introduced a well-structured 11-month, 2-semester part-time postgraduate diploma program in regulatory affairs and is essential to impart global RA education to aspirants and transform them to take on the industry challenge of global RA compliance. Designed to the current need of global regulatory professionals and first of its type in the country of India. Admissions closing soon. Apply today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Polshettiwar sir. Today the first talk will be delivered by Honorable Dean sir, Dr. Limaye sir. Sir has a versatile experience in pharma industry. Honorable Limaye sir completed MS in pharmacology and toxicology from University of Rhode Island, USA. He completed his PhD in pharmacoepidemiology through a joint program between Helmont Infection Research Center, Hanover Medical School, and Hanover Biomedical Research School, Germany. He was Senior Deputy Manager in Nicholas Piramal from 1995 to 2000. He worked from 2000 to 2002 as a medical advisor in Vocard Limited, Mumbai, India. 2002 to 2005, he was a General Manager, Drug Regulatory Affairs at Sanofi Aventis, Mumbai. From 2005 to 2014, Limaye sir served as a Medical Director, Center for Advancement in Health Sciences. From 2014 to 2021, he was a teaching faculty at Hanover University, Germany. With this very brief introduction, I request Limaye sir to deliver his talk on DCGI, CDSCO, and IND submission. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Amol sir. Thank you, Polshettiwar sir. Welcome, Professor Sonavne from Shivaji University. So again, we are thankful to MITWPU senior management as well as senior management of Shivaji University. Really thankful to entire faculty members, all the staff, especially Pankaj Shirbhate for always, he is behind us and he gives us fantastic IT support. Similarly, my sincere thanks to all the faculty members and staff of Shivaji University. So Dr. Tagalpalliwar, Dr. Polshettiwar sir have taken great efforts and they have already yesterday discussed with you various assignments and they have also made room. So I don't think any student will have any trouble in understanding, but we are always there to support you. So my today's talk is on Indian regulatory scenario. So yesterday we have seen what is regulatory affairs, what are the career options, and also we had a talk on common technical document. Also, we had a talk from Professor Doran regarding European regulations. Yeah, so we are now focusing on Indian regulatory scenario. Please remember, Indian regulatory scenario or Indian drug regulations are really, really very, very important because all the pharma companies globally, they are coming to India to do the clinical trials, to launch the products in Indian market. So in India is a big market. You have seen that all the sellers like Amazon is the biggest worldwide seller, and Amazon is in India. Why? Because India is a big, huge market. And same situation is true for pharmaceutical market. We are the largest pharmaceutical market in terms of unit sales. In terms of price, we are not. In terms of price, in terms of sales, US dollars, US is number one. Why? Because their medicine price is very high, and our medicine price is really 1/100th of whatever we get in US or Europe. So in terms of units, because of sheer numbers, because of sheer population, we are highest. In terms of sales of tablets, in terms of sales of capsules, injections, we are number one in world. But when we convert that into money, we come down. But that really doesn't matter. Exactly because of high unit sales, all the pharma companies, all the CROs are coming to India. And this is the reason we need experts who understand Indian regulatory scenario. And this is the purpose of today's lecture. And please remember, this lecture is a part of postgraduate diploma in regulatory affairs, which is conducted by MITWPU University. And a lot of industry people are focusing on Indian regulatory scenario because there are very few people who understand this in depth. Yeah, so my effort will be to make you aware of what is happening in India. So let us go to the first slide. For people who are not from pharmacy, what are drugs? I just will read the things which are bold. All the medicines for internal, external use for humans or animals, and all the substances which are used in diagnosis, which are used in treatment, mitigation is bringing the symptoms down, and prevention are called as drugs. All the substances which are used for the components of the drug, for example, empty gelatin capsules are also considered as drug, because if you have high quality medicine but poor quality capsules, then it will lead to harmful effects. And that is the reason everything is included under the definition of drugs. Cosmetics, we all are aware, we all use cosmetics. Any article which is used for beautification, which is rubbed on the skin or introduced on the human body, altering the appearance, or any article which is used as a component of the cosmetic is also considered as cosmetic, and it comes under drug and cosmetic rules and act. So this was the intention of showing you definition. So now let us look at what were the drugs, what were the drug laws pertaining to import, manufacture and sale of drugs in India. Let us go a little bit back into history. So it started with, in the beginning of the current century, industry was non-existent. And I don't know whether you know which was the first pharma company in India. It was Bengal Pharmaceuticals. They have an office in Warali. If any one of you have visited Mumbai, there was an old passport office in Mumbai in Warali, Prabhadevi, near Siddhivinayak temple. And there they had their plant, their office, and this company was number one. They were the first pharmaceutical company in India. And now this company is nowhere. What they are selling is phenyl, which we use as a disinfectant in washing our floors. So this is the stage. So after around 70-80 years, they have reduced down to nowhere. But remember, they were the first company, Bengal Pharmaceuticals. Then pharmaceuticals, where what was happening is we used to import everything from abroad, ready tablets, ready capsules, and then because there was First World War, it changed the situation. What happened was we started manufacturing bulk drugs. We started making our own dosage forms. And this was the way we modified into bigger pharmaceutical market. And then government started making rules, legislations for import, manufacture, distribution and sale of drugs. And then came first Drug and Cosmetic Act in 1940. This is pre-independence. We still have this drug in existence. Then there was the Pharmacy Act 1948. There was Drug and Magic Remedies Act, which advertisements are not allowed. So this is Act of 1954. There is Narcotic Drug and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985, under which morphine and all these psychotropic and narcotic drugs are regulated. Medicinal and Toilet Preparations Act for excise duties 56. And then there is DPCO, Drug Price Control Order, under 1995 law. And there is 2013 order DPCO, which has a little bit modification. So you can say addendum to 1995. So this is interesting equation. I want to discuss with all of you. Please understand this. This is the way retail price is calculated in India. So retail price, RP is the retail price, is equal to MC. MC is material cost of the materials. CC is the cost of the conversion. Conversion is when you formulate the substance. And then comes PM is the packaging material. Then PC is the packaging charge. So this is the first bracket we are talking about. Multiplied by 1 plus MAPE. MAPE is maximum allowable post-manufacturing expenses. So once you manufacture, MAPE is once I manufacture, then how much expenses I will need. So this means all the cost incurred by manufacturer from the stage of X factory cost to the retailers. Suppose I have a factory in Mumbai and I want to export it to Goa, Daman, Diu or Delhi. So how much expenses I will incur maximum? This is called as MAPE, maximum allowable post-manufacturing expenses. So this bracket is 1 plus MAPE divided by 100, bracket complete. So this is the first multiplication of first bracket and second bracket plus excise duty. This is the way retail price is calculated in India. So please try to remember this equation, very important equation for Indian pharmaceutical market. And this is the way prices are brought down in India. So Polshettivar sir. Polshettivar sir.
Yes, sir.
How many students are there now?
99, sir.
Very good. Okay. Okay. Because this is the important slide. So I wanted to.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure
even
that
on YouTube, sir, there are 100 participants are watching on YouTube.
Okay. Okay. No problem. So this is very interesting slide. Please remember, drug regulatory structure in India is called as multi-door control. Drug regulatory structure is not so easy in India to understand. Yeah. So I call this as multi-door control. Look on the left side. So there are 4 doors which are involved in regulation of drugs or approval of drugs. In other countries in Europe and USA or Far East like Australia, Japan, there is only single door. But in India, there are different doors through which we need to take permissions. So first door or first ministry involved in permission is Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Then on the right side, you have Ministry of Science and Technology, then Ministry of Health at the bottom, and Ministry of Environment on the left bottom. So you will think, what is the role of chemical and fertilizers in drugs? What is the role of science and technology in drugs? And what is the role of environment in drugs? The right ministry for us is, you will think it is only Ministry of Health. So let us understand what is the purpose of multi-door control in Indian drug regulatory affairs. So let us go to next slide. So what happens is I'm going to tell you what is a new drug by Indian drug regulations. When we talk about new drug, what exactly is a new drug? So I will just read a few important points. 122E is the rule for new drug definition. It defines new drug. It's a new substance. First of all, it's a new substance which has never been used in the country. Which country? Our country, India, and has not been recognized in the country for proposed claim. Please try to understand this. It's a new substance never used in the country, or it has not been recognized in the country as effective and safe for the proposed claim. For example, aspirin was used as a painkiller for a long time, but aspirin's use started for prevention of thrombosis. Yeah, so people prevention of, let us say, heart attacks because of thrombosis or stroke. So this is a new claim. So this will also fall under 122E new drug definition, and then modified or new claims, or a fixed dose definition, fixed dose combination of 2 or more drugs. All this fall under new drug definition under rule called as 122E. At this stage, just understand, students, don't remember, because this will come out of practice. And once you go in pharma industry, or if you are practicing regulatory affairs professional, then these rules will automatically be on your tongue. No need to memorize. So what are the forms related to new drug applications? So I will just tell you there are four or five important forms. 122A, it's application for permission to import a new drug. So if you want to import a new drug from USA, Europe to India, anywhere, you need to apply in 122A. 122B is application for approval to manufacture new drug. So 122A, direct import. 122B, for example, if you are Cipla, if you are Lupin, if you are, let us say, Macleoids, these are the companies which will manufacture new drug in India. So that is 122B. So if Dr. Polshettiwar has a company and he has to manufacture a new drug which never existed in India, he will go to Drugs Controller General India and apply in 122B. Professor Tagalpalliwar, he has a company, but he wants to import new drugs from USA. So he applies in 122A. Then 122D is a permission to import or manufacture fixed dose combination. So let us say Professor Manish Wani, he has a company, but he wants to import fixed dose combination. So this is not A, this is not B. He will import in 122D. And 122DA is application for permission to conduct the clinical trials for new drug or investigational new drug. This is important. So when we do the clinical trials, we do under 122DA. Don't focus on fees. Fees keep on changing. Now, this is very interesting slide for all of you. So I was talking about multi-door approach or multi-door control in Indian drug regulation. So this is Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Under this, there is a body called as National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, NPPA. And their job is to have pricing regulations for pharmaceuticals. And this is the reason Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers is really important to us. Yeah, so the question which might was generated in your mind, what is the purpose of Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers? So now you know, for every drug, there is a fixed price, maximum retail price. So this comes via Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, because NPPA, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, reports to Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Then let us go to Ministry of Health, which is definitely our ministry because we are in pharma. There is a health secretary, then there is Director General of Health Services, to whom reports Drugs Controller General of India, Dr. Somani is a present DCGI. Then there are Central Drug Laboratories and Central Drug Testing Laboratories. They report to finally to DCGI, and their job is to look at the quality issues. Then there is Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Science and Technology, and to whom reports DBT, Department of Biotechnology. And now you know what is the importance of Ministry of Science and Technology. If you have any drug which is having biotech origin, if you have any drug biotech origin, then you need to go via Ministry of Science and Technology. Then there is a Ministry of Environment. Ministry of Environment has additional secretary. There is a secretary kind of post, additional secretary. He or she reports to Ministry of Environment. And to DBT and Ministry of DBT and additional secretary. To DBT and additional secretary both reports a committee called as Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. And this Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, finally, if you have any drug which is biotechnological origin, genetic origin, then it will go through all the four ministries. And what will finally happen is you will get the approval. So you will go to Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Let us say Dr. Polshettiwar has recombinant DNA product. So what he does is, first Dr. Polshettiwar will go to Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers and he will say, okay, this is my idea. This is a drug I have already manufactured and please give me pricing MRP. Then he applies to Chemicals and Fertilizers. Then Dr. Polshettiwar definitely has to go to DCGI because it's a new drug. So he will go to DCGI, get the permission. He will also have to go to DBT in a way to Ministry of Science and Technology because this is a biotech origin drug. He has to go to Ministry of Environment because there is an additional secretary and GESC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, because this drug has come through biotechnology. So Polshettiwar goes to all the four ministries. And finally, if he succeeds, he does good clinical trials. What happens is he gets the final drug approval. So Dr. Polshettiwar's life is not easy because he is approaching four ministries, and we as Indians understand going to four ministries is so difficult. Approaching one ministry, getting the permission is easy, but going to four ministries takes time. And then finally, Dr. Polshettiwar's role doesn't end here. He has to go to state drug regulatory authorities because Dr. Polshettiwar is in Maharashtra. So he will go to Maharashtra FDA and he will talk to Maharashtra FDA because he has not only to market, it is not like DCGI will give permission to sales and marketing. No, he will say, okay, your drug is approved. But now Dr. Polshettiwar has to go with that permission to every state FDA. If he skips Delhi, this is okay. But if he wants to go to, let us say, in Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh, or let us say Orissa, he has to go to every state FDA and get the permission. And this permission might be for marketing and sales and also for manufacturing of new drugs. Dr. Polshettiwar puts a plant in Goa. After getting the permission from DCGI, he has to go to Goa and Goa FDA. And this is the way this cycle continues. For people who are interested in this, maybe entrepreneurs, their job doesn't end here. Dr. Polshettiwar's job won't end here. What happens next is there is an association called as AIOCD, All India Association of Chemists and Druggists. So Polshettiwar approaches this association. This is located in Dadar, Mumbai, for everyone, for all chemists and druggists in India. So Dr. Polshettiwar goes to Dadar in Mumbai. He takes the permission, and then they give the permission to Dr. Polshettiwar for entire India chemist and druggist put at the retailer level. Yeah. So things are not really easy in India. But let me tell you one more step. Dr. Polshettiwar's life has become really difficult. Now he has to go to district level, village level. Yeah, because there are chemist and druggist association at every stage. They will say, okay, what if you have permission from AIOCD? That doesn't mean district permission can be granted. No. So in India, there is a multi-door approach. Multi doesn't mean four. Many doors need to be opened. And this is the exact reason why I heard Dr. Polshettiwar saying there are very few people who are aware of what exactly regulations are in India. Yeah, and life is really tough. And that is the reason, students, if you understand these regulations, you can succeed, because there are n number of foreign companies, they don't understand. And students like us, and MITWPU has designed fantastic course through which you will learn everything and you will become perfect in Indian drug regulations also. Let us go to next slide. Now, Dr. Polshettiwar, everything is okay, right? Everyone is, my voice is clear. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Participate also 112.
Okay. So now this is another way of explaining you regulatory process for approval of a new drug in India. On the finally, what I have made your life easy. I'm saying approval of new drug in India depends upon nature of the product. What is the nature of the product? On left side, you will see drug is life-saving, non-biotech. Drug is life-saving. You understand life-saving. There are certain medications which are life-saving. And in the center, you will see life-saving biotech. So life-saving non-biotech, life-saving non-biotech, and non-life-saving non-biotech or non-life-saving biotech. So let us go slowly. Don't get overburdened. So life-saving and non-biotech. My drug is non-biotech, which means it's of chemical origin. Dr. Tagalpalliwar has synthesized a drug which is in the labs. So drug is of course life-saving, but this drug is non-biotech. Non-biotech means chemical origin. So what happens is, because it is life-saving drug, sometimes it is possible to get a clinical trial waiver. DCGI, Drugs Control General of India, say, okay, have you done phase 1, phase 2? Okay, because drug is life-saving, I allow you to market on the urgent basis because this will save the lives of millions of patients. Then this is new drug application. Company will make a new drug application. Experts will review it, and Central Drug Testing Laboratory will look at the specifications, and drug will have faster approval only because this is life-saving drug. And now let us look at life-saving biotech drug. Remember, this drug is still life-saving. Now let us talk about Dr. Baheti, who is our head of school. So he has synthesized, he has made a drug which is of biotechnology origin. But remember, drug is life-saving. When we say life-saving, please understand, faster clearances are allowed. But Dr. Baheti has to go to GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, because this is of biotech origin. He goes to, there is no need for central drug laboratories, and waiver is possible. Waiver means no need to do the testing because it is life-saving, and faster approval is possible in this case. Now let us go to right side. Now the nature of the product is non-life-saving. It's an ordinary drug, non-life-saving. Maybe it is an NSAID. maybe it is anti-hypertensive, maybe it is anti-diabetic. And what is the nature of the drug? It is non-biotechnological origin, which means chemical drug. What happens is DCGI will say, Drugs Control General of India will say, okay, you need to do the clinical trial. So make the IND submission. IND is investigational new drug. Drug is under investigation. So you need to do the clinical trials. And then clinical trial permission, central drug laboratory testing, data will be presented to DCGI, and finally approval will happen. Yeah. So now again, fourth type. What is the fourth type? Non-life saving, but it is biotech. Non-life saving on the right side, and then connect, it is a biotechnological type of drug. If it is non-life saving biotech, then always remember you have to do the clinical trial. And if it is a biotech, you need to go to GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. So let me tell you, your life becomes little easy. If you are a pharmaceutical company, your life is a little bit easier if you have life-saving type of drug. Yeah, remember, if you are life-saving type of drug. And the easiest application is life-saving non-biotech drug. Life-saving non-biotech on the extreme left. Life-saving non-biotechnological type of drug is very, very easy because it has the fastest approval. If it is life-saving biotech origin, it is still okay. Not very fast, but little bit faster. And the worst application is non-life-saving biotech type of drug. So when it is non-life-saving, it takes pretty much time because you need to go through the clinical trial. So don't get burdened. Once you join this course, you will understand it better, or you can always interact with me at a later stage. Now, are you still okay? Relax. Yeah. So this is a slide to tell you relax. Don't get overburdened. Everything is still okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some departments which are related to pharma. Very, very important slide. Who is the current DCGI? It is Dr. VG Somani. What are the main duties of Drugs Control General India? Remember, he's sitting in Delhi and he's the top person in pharmaceutical industry who gives the permission. New drug approval, standards of the drug, import of the drug, coordination with state FDA. So all state FDA coordination is handled centrally. If you want to go to new drug approval for clinical trials, setting the standards of the drug, importing the drug, you have to go to Delhi, New Delhi, DCGI. Then state FDAs. State FDA commissioner was shunted just on this Tuesday, last Tuesday. It was Dr. Kale. He was removed by current alliance. And now Dr. Pallavi Darade is current Maharashtra FDA commissioner. So I was also not aware because I just checked. By sheer chance of luck, I got the news that Dr. Kale has been shifted. So main duties are manufacturing, sale and distribution of drugs. So if you want to do anything in Maharashtra, you need to go to Maharashtra FDA Commissioner's office located in BKC, Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai. Then there is National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. Chairman is Mrs. Shubhra Singh and main duties are drug pricing. Then Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Renu Swarup is the secretary. So all these people are very, very important if you want to do regulatory submissions in India, because each and every each and every person here you will need to approach. I have shown only Maharashtra FDA Commissioner because we are in Maharashtra, but you will need to approach all the state FDAs before marketing and sales in every state. Let us go to next slide. So Director General of Health Services, this is also very important post. DCGI, Drugs Control General of India, reports to DGHS, Ministry of Family Health and Welfare. Drugs Control General of India. Then there is Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade. Let me tell you what is the importance of DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade. For example, if you are doing a clinical trial and you have taken samples of tissues of patients, let us say you are doing oncology clinical trial, cancer clinical trial, and you have taken samples of gastrointestinal tract or tumors from anywhere in the body, and if you want to export it out of India for analysis, then who gets involved? Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT. DGFT is associated with the ports. Ports is seaport or airport. Yeah. So you need to approach these people, get the permission to export. Then there is Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR. DCGI will refer this clinical trial applications to ICMR and get their opinion. For example, Dr. Polshettiwar has submitted clinical trial application for, let us say, for Corona, COVID. Then DCGI thinks and DCGI says, okay, I alone cannot take the decision. So what I'll do is I will refer it to ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, and I'm referring this to pulmonologist or people who are specialists in respiratory diseases. This is the way DCGI's office works. Then there is a Department of Biotechnology, which we already discussed. There is Ministry of Environment and Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, GEAC, which also we discussed. So students, are you all still okay? Polshettivar sir, everything okay?
Yes, sir. Everything is okay.
Okay. Or how much time I have? We have time till 11:30, right?
Yes,
So
sir. 30 minutes to go. 30 minutes.
30 minutes to go. Okay. So regulatory rules and guidelines, as I already told you, there are drugs and cosmetic rules 1945. There is something called as Schedule Y, which is the requirement and guidelines for clinical trials for import and manufacture of new drugs. So if you want to do the clinical trials in India, what you do is you obey the Schedule Y. This is something like a CTD, Common Technical Document Requirements. Then there is an ethical guideline prescribed by ICMR New Delhi. There are good clinical practices which you need to stick to, advised by Director General of Health Services as well as ICHGCP, ICHGCP, International Conference for Harmonization. Remember this. This is very, very important. Schedule Y highlights. I'll show you quickly Schedule Y highlights. No clinical trial should be conducted without the written permission from licensing authority, and licensing authority is DCGI, Director General of Health Services. For drugs which are not approved or not marketed in India, permission is granted to initiate a study, a phase parallel to the phase of the trials in countries except phase 1. Don't go into this complicated rule language. What it simply means is, let us say I am in USA. I am a company located in United States, and I want to do a trial in India. Drugs Controller General will say, Dr. Limaye, which trial you want to do? I'll say, okay, I want to do phase 1. So they will ask me, have you finished phase 1 in USA? I will say, no, I have not finished phase 1 in USA. I want to do it on Indian patients. DCGI will say, no, this is not allowed. You first go to USA, complete your phase 1, and then only we will give you permission to conduct phase 1 in India. Why do you want to use Indian people as guinea pigs? I complete that, and then I come to India and do phase 1 on Indian patients. This is absolutely okay. Now let us say I again come to DCGI and say, sir, I want to do phase 2 parallelly in India and USA. I'm running phase 2 in USA. I want to run parallelly phase 2 in India. DCGI will say, absolutely okay. Have you finished phase 1 in India? I will say, yes, sir. I have finished phase 1 in India. So what I want to say is only phase 1 parallel is not allowed. You need to finish in your country of origin, and then you can do it in India. But phase 2, phase 3, you can do parallelly in India. Phase 1 study, there is a lag. So this is the reason in regulatory we say phase 1, there is a lag. It takes time. उसको time लगता है. Phase 1 पहले आपके country में complete करो, उसके बाद India में complete करो. Don't use Indian people as guinea pigs. So we say in regulatory language, there is a lag. Trials in children are usually allowed only after phase 3 in adult is completed. You have seen this happening in Corona also. So initially these vaccines were not approved in pediatric population. Now they did the data. Now they accumulated data, and now this is being used in children also. So what happens is what kind of regulatory documents are required? I'll go a little bit faster. You need a clinical trial application. You need to make it to DCGI sitting in New Delhi. You need test license to import the study drugs. For example, Dr. Polshettivar's company is in USA and I'm Indian company. I want to import the drugs in India to do the clinical trial. I again go to DCGI. Export license to export biological samples. I need to go to DGFT. My trial involves tumor samples and my lab is located in Singapore. I'm doing the clinical trial, but I need to send samples out of India to Singapore. So I need export license from whom? From Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT. They will give me no objection certificate. And then this is the way I go on submitting my application, clinical trial application. As I already told you, it is under Rule 122DA. So let us not go into details. I will I will skip this. Clinical trial application. What do you do in clinical trial application? You send a proposal letter. Respected DC Drugs Control Journal of India, we wish to do XYZ clinical trial, phase so and so, particulars of drugs. What are the drugs? So you need all this information, which you will do in today's competition. Yeah, so this is a similar thing which you will do today in brief. Chemical and pharmaceutical data you will need to give. You will also need to give data on preclinical data, animal pharmacology, toxicology, clinical trial data. If you already have some data on phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 studies, what is the regulatory status in other countries? If you have any published reports and so on, you need to give protocol, clinical trial protocol, investigator brochure, which are the sites, which are the hospitals where you do the clinical trial, and their approval. If Dr. Polshettiwar is located in AIIMS, New Delhi, I will approach Dr. Polshettiwar and say, sir, will you do clinical trial for my company? He will say yes, and I will take a letter of approval from Dr. Polshettiwar. So this is a consent letter. I will also go to ethics committee and take their approvals. And then I will apply for test license. Test license is I need to manufacture small amount of drugs to do the clinical trial. I have a factory in Mumbai where I will manufacture these drugs, and this is called as a test license with justification. So I'm going to skip this. See, this is very similar to CTD. I want to show you something interesting. I will later on, I will forward you the slides. Okay. So I just want to take a few minutes. Polshettiwar sir, still we have time, right?
Yes, sir. We have
Sir,
15
your
minutes.
lecture is scheduled from 10 to 11:30.
Yes.
11:30. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us go now a little bit slowly. Are you all okay and are you with me? So this was my question. This is what I thought, because these rules and regulations when we did our BPharm, this is tough. To remember all these things is tough. But when you start implementing, when you start working, this is really easy. You don't need to remember whether it is 122A, 122DA. This comes automatically. And more than numbers, what is important is how you understand this information and how do you convey it to Drugs Controller General India. Yeah. So here comes the effective use of liaisoning person. A person, yesterday I have shown you the car, Drug Regulatory Affairs car, which is moving, and various opportunities. So if you are, when you are in regulatory affairs, you need to be really open. Never say no. If you say, okay, this cannot be done, then it is gone, it is finished. Business is over. So you should always think how it can be done. Keep your, don't look like this. Remove this from your thoughts. Think out of the box and say how it can be done, because there are n number of inquiries globally. They want to start business in India. And if you are regulatory affairs professional, if you have a knack, if you understand, yes, I can do it, then this is exactly the way businesses work. So I want to show you something about informed consent. This is really, really useful. So when you do clinical trials, when you work in regulatory affairs, what is important is caring for Indian people. Yeah, business doesn't mean unethical behaviors. So informed consent, the idea behind informed consent is ensuring ethical clinical trials by fully informing patients of potential risk and benefit and establishing whether the patient consents to the treatment, which means if you are making me part of your clinical trial, if I am your patient, you need to fully inform me, Mr. Gyanesh Limaye, this is the new drug and these are the safety risks and this is the efficacy. And this is a kind of a population like you participating in clinical trials. So please remember, informed consent requires a strong commitment to the patient. So if Dr. Tagal Palliwar is a medical person, if he is MD in diabetology, and I'm a diabetes patient in his clinical trial, he needs to clearly tell me, Mr. Limaye, these are the side effects and this is the possibility. There is a risk of death also. And you should be really very clear, because later on Dr. Tagal Palliwar will suffer if something happens to me. So informed consent has to be given, which is true and meaningful. Yeah, truth and meaningful. Many a times we have seen when we go for minor operations in Indian hospitals or Indian clinics, what do they say? They say, sir, yahan pe please sign kijiye. And because I have worked in clinical trials, I say, for what? Sign for what? They say, nahi, aisa hi hai, sir, aisa hi hai. Informed consent hai, us pe sign karna hai. Then I tell this nurse or whoever is at the counter, please explain me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe how many of you have seen the movie Shwas? There is a fantastic movie Shwas where it's a story of a small young boy who has tumor in his eyes, and it's a terrible movie, emotional movie. But then you understand the concept of informed consent. For such a small child also, you need to inform him, this is the surgery we are going to do. And from small children, we do not take informed consent. What we take is assent. There is a parent or there is legally acceptable representative, he signs on the behalf, but it doesn't mean you don't need to inform. You need to always inform. Yeah, and this is the way doctors are trained. This is the way pharmacists are trained, to convey. Even if things are bad, you need to convey it to patients. So what is important is genesis of informed consent. I do not want to go into details. All the doctors, when they complete their graduation, they take the Hippocratic oath saying that we will do the work which is always beneficial to patients. And this Hippocratic oath has an origin in our old Ayurveda, where that was the way our Indian philosophy has taught, Indian medicine has taught us to be very, very ethical to all the patients, and even to non-living beings, not only to living beings, to non-living beings also. Now I want to discuss some issues related to when we do clinical trials, when we go to regulatory permission, something important. Obtaining informed consent. While regulations and ethical standards exist in Western countries like USA and Europe and Australia and so far East, what happens is sometimes there is a problem. Look at something interesting. For example, there is a stigma against drawing the blood in Burkina Faso in Africa. So when you go to Burkina Faso, they will say if the blood sample is part of the clinical trial, it is difficult. Dr. Satish Polshettiwar wants to do a trial in Burkina Faso, and as a part of the trial, he wants to withdraw the blood. But these people are going to say, sir, it is not possible because our culture does not allow to withdraw the blood. What will you do? How will you take informed consent? So what I want to say is you need to know about customs of every country. Yeah. Then let us go to next issue, next country, obtaining informed consent. So informed consent is, remember, consent is allowing. Dr. Polshettiwar has given consent, which means he says, okay, go ahead. And informed consent means I have informed Dr. Polshettiwar, he understood, and then he is saying, Limaye sir, go ahead. So there is a difference between consent and informed consent. And one more thing is written informed consent. Dr. Polshettiwar has been informed by me, he understands, he gives the consent, and he signs. Everything is okay. So there are three things. First is consent, informed consent, and written informed consent. But if you go to Middle East, they say, we do not want to give informed consent, written informed consent, because we don't believe in written informed consent. What we say is verbal agreement is the best. In Middle East, this is the issue. If you give the word of mouth, that's it. So Middle East people do not want to give written informed consent. Now come back to India. What happens is in India, doctors are treated as God. Physician is held in very self-esteem, high esteem, and patients typically proceed with treatment regimens as recommended by practitioner. So if you, even if me or Dr. Polshettiwar, Dr. Tagalpalliwar, we are highly educated, but when we go to doctor, we will say, yes, sir, we treat doctor as a God. And this creates two issues. First is from the side of patient, and second one is from the point of physician. So please look at this last paragraph. A healthcare professional who practiced in India for more than 2 decades, he said, more than a decade, he said, in many years of interacting with patients, I never once had someone ask me what are the side effects. So do you ask your health practitioner when he writes some medicines to you? अगर आप डॉक्टर के पास जाते हो, have you ever asked your healthcare practitioner, general physician or MD, doctor, you are writing these antibiotics for me. Please tell me what are the side effects. Do you dare? Do you ask anytime? You should always ask. Or other questions about the treatment. Have you asked any time, sir, I'm taking anti-diabetic drug. Will there be any drug interaction? What are the long-term side effects? Why don't you write generic medicines? Because this is cheaper. Have you asked these type of questions? If not, you should definitely ask. Generally, there is an acceptance of the disease and its course, which may prevent patients from pursuing treatment and participating in clinical research. What also happens is many Indian patients do not participate in clinical trials. Why? They feel, oh, ye to mera naseeb hai. I have disease, and this is the way my disease will proceed. This is the way I will have different complications. So what is the need to participate in complications? So they think like this. This is the way Indian patients think. Let us go to next slide. Additionally, it creates a sort of quandary between physician choosing to guide the patient through uncertainties of new treatment might bring as a clinical expert. Because the patient often considers physician in such a high regard or respect, explaining the different options available on the possible negative effects makes it appear as though physician is not knowledgeable. So this, in simple words, what this slide means is, if I go to physician, I treat physician as a god. He is God for me, he or she is God for me. But if he is involving in clinical trials, and then he doesn't dare to tell me side effects, because if he tells me side effects, then I'll have problem with his image. Oh my God, I was considering this doctor as a god, and now he's telling me to participate in clinical trial, but at the same time he's telling me there is a risk of heart attack, there is a risk of stroke, and even there is a risk of death. So this is the reason, because we think physicians are God, they do not open up and tell us side effects. So this is again the typical problem when we do regulatory affairs in India or clinical trials in India. Let us go to few slides are remaining. Then what is happening is ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, has said, start recording the informed consent. So you exactly know whether informed consent has taken or not. Let us skip this slide. So also what happens in India, denial of post-trial benefit. Trials are done. There are some patients who suffer from heavy losses. There is a permanent damage to some of the organs, or there is a death, or there is a morbidity. For lifelong, they are going to suffer. And then there are pharma companies who don't want to give insurance benefit to these patients. So this is serious problem in India. And this is also handled under regulatory affairs. So I want to show you findings, one finding, and then I will stop. So this is a famous case by GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. You are all aware this is a big company. This phase 2B trial of lapatinib monotherapy for chemotherapy naive patients. Naive means they have never taken chemotherapy. With advanced HER-positive breast cancer had 3 sites in India. Majority of breast cancer patients in India cannot afford proper treatment. We also all understand. Majority of the cancer patients, because cancer treatment is so expensive, majority of the patients won't afford it. This trial required seriously ill patients who had never received treatment for their condition. So this was a requirement, naive patients. Their economic vulnerability forces patients in India to take part in this trial in order to get access to the treatment and to disregard the potential risk. What happens in India, there are a lot of poor people. They will not afford money to buy the treatment, money for their cancer treatments. What happens is, if doctor is telling me, or if doctor is telling any patient, there is clinical trial going on for treatment of cancer, all these poor people are going to participate without understanding what are the risks. So really there is no informed consent procedure for poor people. And this makes, last line, GSK, GlaxoSmithKline took the advantage of vulnerable position of breast cancer patients. So I will come to last slide. Major problems in consent procedures in regulatory affairs. Investigators may not allot sufficient time. Think of any hospital. I think all of you have gone to hospitals. How much time physician has for us? Hardly 1 minute or hardly 2 minutes. So they do not have time at all. So they cannot allocate time because there are a ratio of doctor and patients is very, very skewed. There are not enough doctors. Second problem is many subjects fail to realize crucial information because of poverty, because of illiteracy. Even if you are trying to convey to patients, they will not be able to understand what are the side effects. Then content of the consent form. Content on the consent form. Consent forms are not very easy to understand. Randomization. When we do statistical randomization in clinical trials or regulatory affairs, sometimes there is a bias. Difference between clinical trials and regulatory therapy. I want to give one example. When I was doing clinical trial for treatment of cancer in India, my clinical trial was for 2 years. Yeah? And there was a clinical trial site in Kolkata or Kolkata. Trial was over, 2 years were finished. And then on the next day itself, 2 years over, next day I get a call from Kolkata medical doctor who was doing the clinical trial. He called me and said, Dr. Limaye, my patients are responding fantastically. Can you send me clinical trial samples? So I said, I cannot send you the trials. Why I cannot send you the trials? Because sir, this is clinical. This was clinical trial and this is over. This is not regular therapy. Doctor kept on fighting with me, and I said, sir, I cannot, because Drugs Controller General India has given me permission to conduct clinical trial treatment for only 2 years. And finally, we could convince the doctor. Please understand, there is a difference between the clinical trial and regular therapy. In clinical trial, you are testing the medicines for allocated time. And in this case, it was 2 years. When in regular therapy, doctors are free to use it for till the patient is treated or cured. Then third last problem is consenting to please their physicians. If I am a patient and if Dr. Polshettiwar is my physician, I'll say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I will participate in clinical trial because I want to please my doctor, because Dr. Polshettiwar is a god for me. If I don't behave properly with him, what will happen is next time he will not treat me properly. This is the way Indian patients think. Professionals struggle to balance patient care and research activity. Again, Dr. Polshettiwar is so busy. Oh my God, he has such a huge OPD, outpatient department. How can you do research activity? So he's always trying to balance. कि मैं कहाँ research करूँ, कहाँ patient को care करूँ, and his life is like that. So he has a lot of co-investigators. They will help him and they will try to balance research and patient care. And last problem is pressure of quick recruitment from sponsors. This is also regulatory and clinical research role. Your pharma company, your international advisors will put a lot of pressure on you. If Dr. Polshettiwar is sitting in USA, he will put a lot of pressure on me. I am his Indian counterpart. He will say, Dr. Limaye, this July I need 1,000 patients. I complete somehow. He says, sir, you did fantastic. In August, I need 2,000 patients. Oh my God, I will get tremendous pressure. And then under this pressure, I will start working, and then there are ethical issues. So these are main problems of consenting procedure in clinical and regulatory procedures. So this was my short presentation, in which I talked about what are the rules and regulations of regulatory affairs in India, what are the different departments you need to approach, and when we do regulatory affairs and clinical trials, what are the possible ethical issues. So I discussed from both angles, from ethics angle as well as from law angle. So I'm open to any questions if you have. If there are any questions in chat box, please let me know, sir.
Yes,
Otherwise,
sir, yes,
they can write to me.
Yes, sir. Many thanks, sir, for this very informative lecture on this very neglected topic and difficult topic, especially. Now we come to know how difficult it is to apply in Indian FDA and to take approval from Indian FDA. Sir, there is a question from Tejas Chandrasekhar. The question is how clinical trials of COVID vaccines are different than normal trials, and how these trials happening very quick. Can you please explain?
Very nice, excellent question, very nice questions. So what happened was, if you look at vaccine trials, Dr. Kailash Sonamani is also here. In fact, we discussed that in Gerhard Fortwingel's webinar, which happened last week. So normally clinical trials take a lot of time. Yeah, but there is something called as accelerated approval. Yeah, faster approvals when there is serious problem, serious global problem. What happened this time was, this was a global pandemic, global issue. A lot of people were dying. So all the pharmaceutical companies, all the regulatory agencies worldwide, all the funders, everyone came together, and they said they had only one focus in mind, launching the COVID vaccine as soon as possible, or launching the COVID drugs as soon as possible. So trials were conducted at a faster pace. Where do we spend most of the time? We spend most of the time in identifying patients, recruiting them, and doing the clinical trials. Why do companies come to India for clinical trials? Think of any disease I'm saying. You get thousands of patients in one day. If they want to do the trials in USA or Europe, I have stayed for 7 years in Europe. I have seen clinical trials closely. For example, breast cancer trials, if they want to do it, they will take 2 years to recruit even 30 patients. go to Tata Hospital in Mumbai. Within half day, you will be able to recruit 100 patients because of population, because of diseases. So same thing happened in terms of clinical trials for vaccines. All the patients across the world were recruited, and regulatory agencies were continuously looking at this data. And these were not routine trials. Protocols were changing based on the results. Yeah. And this is the way very closely controlled clinical trials were conducted, and aim was to launch the medicine as soon as possible. So it is at a faster pace, but done fantastically with a lot of funding all across the world.
Sir, we have a question from our own faculty. Chaudhary sir, how clinical trial of herbal preparations are carried out and which guidelines are followed for the same?
Yes. So there is we know there is a ministry, Ayush ministry, who is potential or main ministry involved in permissions. But all the herbal and not only herbal, but complementary alternative medicine, CAM, complementary and alternative medicine trials are done as per regulations of DCGI. Yeah. So say something similar, not very stringent. So you might not need to do phase 1 trial, but phase 2, phase 3 trials are required. And they will strictly monitor the drug once it is in the market, and they will say, okay, you continue post-marketing surveillance studies. So regulations are similar. We can have next time we can have a complete session on herbal and Ayurvedic type of clinical trials. And same DCJ also takes care of medical devices trials. So herbal, complementary alternative medicine and medical devices trials are, everything comes under DCGI.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. There is again one question.
Yes.
How does
Satish Polshettiwar, yes.
Yes, sir. The question is about how does deep learning and machine learning impact on clinical trial?
Okay, so deep learning and machine learning or artificial intelligence is playing a very, very important role. And they are not doing the clinical trial. Please understand, this is important in understanding the data, faster data analysis. Like Dr. Polshettiwar, you are aware, in chemistry, we do high throughput analysis. When you or me, when we used to do the analysis, we used to put one test tube, do the analysis. Now at a time, thousands or 10,000s of samples are analyzed by high throughput screening, something similar. So if you want to do analysis with SPSS or Excel, it's going to take ages. With machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning, they will do faster analysis. Not only faster analysis, they will look at the patterns. For example, for corona, let me tell you what is happening is when there is a scan, MRI scan, full body scan, or chest X-ray, there are companies which are looking at X-ray patterns, and then they are thinking whether this person has corona, how much corona, what will be his prognosis. So this is exactly the role of machine learning, deep learning, quicker decisions. So should I stop my trial, or should I go ahead, or should I change my course of action? So this is importance of MI or deep learning. And this, I think this is the way trials are going to happen now, at a faster pace.
One more question addition to nowadays we use for the consent and all registration of before going for the clinical trial. How this artificial intelligence will be playing vital role, significant role to faster the process of this. My question
is definitely.
Yeah.
Importance of or human intervention will be lesser.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Again, we received so many questions, but I'll take some few questions if you permit us.
Yes, sir.
There is a question from Sudarshan. Sir, what are the changes we can observe in Schedule Y after 2019?
My suggestion is many changes. Let us not discuss here, because Schedule Y has continuously modified, but there are now definite timelines in how much timeline drugs will get approval. There is a change in the fee structure. And if you all are aware that in USA, if we do the application, if there is no response in 30 days, sponsor can begin the clinical trial. So something similar has come into action in India also. Sir, without clinical trials, drugs are not allowed for treatment. Then how some anti-cancer drugs used in this COVID treatment? Yes. Vaishali Padamvar.
He's from
Yeah,
industry,
Vaishali.
sir. He's from Neon Laboratories.
Yes. Yes. So this is called as additional indication. Please remember. For example, there is anti-cancer drug which is already approved, yeah, for treatment of cancer. This is exactly what I said for aspirin. Aspirin was approved as a painkiller for ages. It was not even approved. There were no clinical trial when aspirin was launched. And now what has happened recently, past few years, aspirin is used in treatment of as antithrombosis or for stroke. Similarly, these anti-cancer drugs were already approved for treatment of cancer, and now they are in use for treatment of COVID. What happens is phase 3 trials were conducted. You do not need to do phase 1 and phase 2 again. Phase 1 is for concentration versus time kind of curve. Phase 2 is finding the dose, and phase 3 is really for the indication. So all these anti-cancer drugs which are used were tested in phase 3, and phase 3 you can do it faster. So my simple answer to her is yes, you cannot use drugs without trials, but that doesn't mean phase 1 and phase 2 is compulsory. So all the phase 3 trials were done. If you remember at this Ayush Kadha and all, yeah, so there were a lot of trials done for even herbal and Ayurvedic preparations. Yes, in silico simulation of clinical trials, Sanket, Tagalpallivar sir.
Yes, sir.
In silico simulation, I'm hearing this since my BPharm days. I'm talking about 90s, but Kailash sir also knows, Sonana sir also knows, and we all know in silico and in human, there's a tremendous difference. So complete body system functions differently. If there is a drug which is acting on pancreas or liver, there are so many organs which are acting on the same drug, because drug is getting distributed all across. Yeah. So in silico looks good. This is for earlier kind of evidence generation. But maybe what Dr. Polshettivar said, artificial intelligence and deep learning, machine learning might be of use. But till now, we don't have complete solution. And this is the reason a clinical trial speed is so less.
Yes, sir. There is again one question from, just a minute, sir.
If
Achal Gauli, and the question is, if a foreign pharmaceutical or biotech company want to introduce a drug in the Indian market, then do they also have to follow same procedure?
Surely, this is exactly what I said. What is her name? Achal, right? Achal.
Yes, sir.
Achal, let us say you are a company based in USA, and your question is your company wants to introduce a drug in Indian market, and I am Drugs Controller General India. So I will tell you, Achal, have you finished all the clinical trials in USA? You will say, yes, sir, my drug is already there in the market. I'll say, have you done trials on Indian patients in USA? You will say, yes. But still, I will not allow, because these Indian patients or Indians, people of Indian origin, are staying in USA for a long time. Their body systems have changed. So I'll say, Achal, do the phase 1 in India, do phase 2 in India, do phase 3 in India. And this is going to definitely take at least 4 to 5 years. So you will be able to launch this drug after 4 to 5 years in India. But please remember, but if you can convince me, and not only me, even ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, that this drug is really important and life-saving for Indian patients, it will change the way disease responds, then what I'll do is I will tell you, okay, I allow you to skip phase 1 and phase 2 because you have US data. Please do phase 3 trial, and your company will do phase 3 trial in India. And this is a quicker option. And this is exactly I was saying. If Dr. Polshettivar is my liaison person, and he reports to me, yeah, I am DCGI, and Dr. Polshettivar is Achal's Indian representative, and Dr. Polshettivar tells Achal, Madam, हो नहीं सकता India में, इसको बहुत time लगेगा. Dr. Limaye, who is DCGI, will never give you permission. Then things are finished. So Achal, you will need some good liaison man in India, and he should tell you, okay, this is the way out. Let us talk to DCGI's office. and then talk to ICMR and try to convince. So DCGI will listen to it. He will forward your thoughts to different healthcare practitioners in India, and he will see to it that Indian ethics are followed perfectly.
Yes, sir. There is one question from Shravani Chobe. She's asking any database, any kind of web tool where we can get updates of all regulatory guidelines.
Yes, go to CDSCO website, CDSCO. Yeah, CDSCO website. You will get all the regulations. Also, always refer to Indian Clinical Trial Registry. Dr. Tagalpallivar and Polshettivar sir, today's competition.
Yes, sir.
We have given them
Yes,
this website.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Already we have given in that templates.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is called as ctri.nic.in. ctri.nic.in. This is a website where you see all the clinical trials, and you can also refer to CDSCO website. CDSCO is cdsco.gov.in. So these are two websites you should never forget: CDSCO and CTRI.
Yes, sir. Sir, I wish to share the experience of your lecture. When the lecture was started, there were 80 participants, and it is increase from 80 to 120 now. Itself indicates that the people are, learning a lot from this particular lecture. Thank you so much, sir, for this nice and unique information you are sharing with all of us. We have some live feedback, sir. I request Pallavi Pawar. Pallavi ma'am, you unmute yourself. You please start your video. Yeah, please.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Pallavi Pawar, student of first year M Pharmacy. I found that this workshop is really helpful. One of the most enjoyable and informative seminar I have attended. Thank you for organizing such seminar I have attended. Special thanks to great speaker Limaye sir. I learned about Indian regulatory scenario. What are the new drug applications? What are the forms available for this? Then regulatory bodies, then informed consent form, flows in informed consent process, then main problems in consent procedure. Thank you so much, sir, for such informative session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pallavi.
Yeah, thank you, Pallavi. Sir, we have Olivia Lopez. Olivia, ma'am, can you please unmute yourself, start your video, and yeah,
Yes,
please.
sir. Hello, sir. Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So me as a student, I'm not a pharmacy student. So me as a student, for me, this workshop is very helpful because I really want to get into this field. And thank you so much. I've always learned about this factors, clinical trials in brief, but never in depth. So your lecture was very informative. Thank you so much.
Olivia, where are you based, and what is your qualification?
I am MSc Microbiology.
And you are in Kolhapur, Shivaji University?
No, sir. Mumbai. University of
Mumbai.
Mumbai. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for feedback. So what happens is, because this is part of the workshop, sometimes I go a little bit faster because I need to keep track of timeline.
Yeah. No, sir. Actually, I have done few other workshops also to understand this topic, but this one is the best, and I really like the way you explain. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you, Olivia. I wish to share all the participants that this is the course which is designed first time in India by this way. So all the industry peoples are involved in the whole process of designing and execution of this syllabus. And if you look at our brochure, also maximum faculty members are from industries too. Now we have another live feedback from Vaishali Padmawar, madam. Madam, please unmute yourself, start your video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
morning.
Myself Vaishali. From last year, I'm working in pharma industry. Actually, I'm not having a quite knowledge of regulatory, but from last 3 years, I'm working with Neon. So I'm working as a factory regulatory who giving the documents to regulatory department. From that day, I developed this interest in regulatory. And from last month, I'm searching for the regulatory courses, which after your workshop, I'm increasing my interest. Thank you for your guidance, which will help me to make new career opportunity.
Thank you, Vaishali, and we wish you from MITWPU, we wish you all the best. We are sure that you will do best.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Vaishali ma'am. Again, on the basis of your question, I wish to share that during your industry, schedule, you can join us because it is a weekend course.
Yes. Yesterday I took off Saturday because only having a Sunday off.
Yeah.
For this course workshop only I took off.
Yeah, so we request all the participants to come to us, to come to MITWPU, see your facilities, see your classroom, by which you can again see the what kind of curriculum we maintain and what kind of facilities we have for this kind of course. So thank you all, sir. Again, there are some questions. If you permit, can I ask, sir, please?
Yes. We still have time.
Yeah, it's from.
I see Dr. Rastogi is already here.
Just
but
now,
we still have
Rastogi
time.
ma'am just now joined. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I'll ask this last question from Shravani. As you said, it's important to keep abreast with new regulatory updates. Can you suggest some sources to keep up with the new additions?
If you want to keep abreast about what is happening in India, then there are different blogs. But best sites are CDSCO and CTR, as Dr. Polshettiwar has also put it in chat box. Yeah, so these are two important sites. You can also visit the DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade. You visit NPPA, visit GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, what is happening. And also all the 4 ministries which I showed. So if you are in regulatory affairs, you really need not only think about what is Schedule Y, what is IND submission, but you need to keep everything open. You need to know who all are important people in India, because you will, as a regulatory affairs professional, for example, if Olivia or who was the other girl, Vaishali, right?
Vaishali, ma'am.
Vaishali, if they want to go ahead in their career, at certain point of time, they will need to talk to these people, because after some years they will go to higher post. And then they cannot say, okay, we will sit only in office and we will communicate by emails. So they will have to pick up telephone and call these people. So this is the kind of network you need to develop. And of course, when you stay in regulatory affairs, definitely you are going to develop network. For example, Kailas sir or Tagalpalliwar sir or Polshettiwar sir have developed fantastic networks with teachers all across India. They can pick up the phone and talk to anyone in pharmacy. Similarly, in regulatory affairs, you will be able to talk to these people. And then this is also easier. This is also the easiest way to get the updates. The way I said, when I was checking who is the current FDA commissioner for Maharashtra, I myself did not read this site since last 1 week. And suddenly I was surprised. Oh my God. Last Tuesday also this was shifted. This person has been shifted and there is a new FDA commissioner. So you need to read. You people are young, so read what is happening. Go to FDA, state FDA website also, and this is the way you keep abreast or interact with us. See, it is not because I am from MITWPU I am telling you this, but if you do these kind of courses, you get the latest knowledge. And courses like this are important. Why they are important? It is not because there are teachers with great knowledge. Teachers always have great knowledge. But here we have teachers who are from industry, and that makes the world different. That makes the course different. Because when you are in industry, you practice regulatory affairs day in and day out. So this is the way you update your knowledge. Dr. Amol Tagalpalliwar, I have answered it in short.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for this nice and informative lecture. I request Satish Polshettiwar, sir, to once again show the video of MITWPU and the DRA course which we have designed. Can you please start, sir?
1 minute, just let me take.
We should take one photograph also, no?
Yes. I'll take photograph also.
Yes.
have this video first.
So all the participants, please start your video. After listening this unique information, keep a smile on the face. I request technical team to take a video, photograph.
They can take video also.
Yes, sir.
Done, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Limaye sir, for delivering this lecture.
Thank you.
Satish, sir.
Always.
Yeah.
I'm showing the video, sir, now. Just
Okay.
Learn what matters at MITWPU.
There are rapid changes as well as evolution in healthcare patterns and healthcare regulations by local, international, and global regulatory affair agencies. Compliance to regulations is paramount. This has created a need of well-trained regulatory experts in the areas of pharmaceuticals, medical devices, biotechnology, herbal, nutraceutical and food science, clinical regulations, and pharmacovigilance. With this realization, MITWPU has introduced a well-structured 11-month, 2-semester part-time postgraduate diploma program in regulatory affairs and is essential to impart global RA education to aspirants and transform them to take on the industry challenge of global RA compliance. Designed to the current need of global regulatory professionals and first of its type in the country of India. Admissions closing soon. Apply today.
yes, go to Amal, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Satish sir. I request Sakshi ma'am. Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, so before you hand it over, let me tell to all students about the competition. Please take this competition really seriously, which will happen, which Dr. Tagalpalliwar and Dr. Polshettiwar sir has explained to you, because this is our side effort to train you in common technical document and which you will do in your future life. Yeah, we have, they have guided you, but take it seriously. Let your entire group make effort and try to take efforts from everyone. Understand what is part of a common technical document. And from my side, all the best to you. I am sure all the groups are doing best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, again. Now we have our next speaker, Dr. Sakshi Rastogi, ma'am. Sakshi, ma'am, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. How are you?
Very good morning. Thank you so much,
Good
ma'am.
morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Nice to see you again.
Same here, Dr. Amol.
Thank you.
So it's my immense pleasure to introduce our today's esteemed guest, Dr. Sakshi Rastogi, madam. She is a certified physician and carries rich, successful 19 years of professional experience in the life sciences and healthcare industry. She is a subject matter expert in pharmacovigilance, medical affairs, and have received many rewards and awards in last 13 years of corporate journey. She pursued her doctorate from Maharshi Dayananda University in 2001. Post completion, she started working as a gynecologist, but later decided to join corporate industry and continued working in many KPOs, CROs in India, Philippines, as well as in USA. Currently, she is engaged with Wipro Kolkata and a part of its growing medical device and pharma service unit as a principal consultant in pharmacovigilance, medical affairs and devices. So madam is going to deliver her lecture on the topic, that is opportunities in medical devices. Over to you, Sakshi ma'am.
Thank you so much. First of all, I apologize, Mr. Limaye. I pronounce you as Dr. Amol, though you have welcomed me. So thank you so much. Right. So again, glad to be a part of this session and excited to connect with all the participants. Few of you are known to me, but I'm looking forward for this interactive session on medical devices. So let me start with this. Medical devices is something which is really booming in today's time. And everyone, even we are living in the digital world, we are having everything virtually. So medical devices are one which everyone is using. Each one of us are using it. Either it is class 1, either it is class 2, class 3. So for today's agenda, let me brief you about what medical devices is all about, the classes which medical devices are, FDA requirement, 510K submission, PMA submission, and then the opportunities in the industry and the top 10 companies in today's world, in today's time, which are really focused towards the medical devices manufacturing. And that's how the career in medical devices is as important as in pharmacovigilance, medical affairs, or regulatory affairs, so on. So medical devices, guys, you must have known toothbrush. Do you think toothbrush is a medical device? Can somebody write on chat for me? Do you think toothbrush is a medical device? Do you think thermometer is a medical device? Can someone quickly let me know? I got to know from Tejas, yes. Shreya, yes, exactly. So medical devices are the one which we use on our day-to-day basis. But there are class 1 which does not need any regulatory interruptions, which can be just manufactured and get into the system for use. Toothbrush, for say thermometer, you don't have to submit any documents for that. Companies do manufacture it and then that can be submitted. And these are done by the cosmetic care, the consumer care companies. Now coming to the little above one, surgical instruments which are using in any hospital for surgery, for cesarean section, for any of the bigger surgeries, that is also coming into class 1 medical devices, which does not need permission for FDA, but because it is having a very low risk to the humankind, but definitely are very important for day-to-day activity. Moving to the class 2 medical devices, the CT scan, MRIs, which are having a little bit impact. If a pregnant woman will go for a CT scan, definitely you really need to ensure about some X-ray, some rays which needs to be provided to her or not to provide her. There is the impact. You have to have some radiations coming out of it. So they are of a little risk, but that also do not require any submissions. You have to do a 510K submission for it, which is a pre-marketing application to FDA or any regulatory bodies where the manufacturer companies are creating and manufacturing these devices. And third one, the most important, is the class 3 device, which is implants, right? Where it is having a life-threatening or death kind of a situation, for which you really have to have a clinical trials undergo and then have to attain the permission from FDA or EMA or any other regulatory bodies where you want to market those kind of a medical device. You must be wondering why all of a sudden in last 3-4 years, medical devices career is booming. The reason is because every medical device is also having lot of side effects. It's also get into a product quality complaint. So because of which the career is booming and industry is really open for all the people to join this one. Like pharmacovigilance, like medical affairs, like regulatory affairs, people are attaining the expertise in medical devices sections and then get into the system to perform the product quality management, contact center part, report, medical writing. So more or less parallel things. If pharma is going on, definitely the medical device section is also going on. And the activities that we do perform is more or less same for pharma and medical device. But one thing, the US regulations, the guidelines are completely different. The manufacturing units, the lab tests, the lab units are completely different. And that's how there are specific companies who are into medical devices and into pharma. Example, Johnson & Johnson. And there are companies who are solely into medical devices, just like company Philips or General Electric, GE Healthcare, right? Now, as these medical devices has come into the picture recently, in 2 years back, EMA, the European Union, has come into with a strong guidelines and regulations for medical devices. If you want to market or authorize your drugs into European Union or APMEA region, you have to follow those particular guidelines. And that's why now the industry is more focused, because we are going to have the standardized regulation in place and everybody has to follow it, either the manufacturer, being the service provider, or the CROs or KPOs. Everybody has to adhere with such regulations before you get work onto any medical device industry. Now, coming to the picture, that recently we got to know the top 10 medical device companies. If I will share, you will be surprised to know that almost 100 plus medical device organizations are there worldwide. In India, it's Philips, right? In India, Johnson and Johnson also having medical devices available. Alcon is there, which is having their all the eye care equipments or eye care gels, the drops, they all are medical devices related, because once somebody is having cataract or glaucoma, they do undergo surgeries, and post that the devices, the medications pertaining to that comes into the medical device section. Now, Philips, Medtronic, Baxter, Allergan, these are few of the companies which are solely into medical device and doing very well. Even you must have noticed the Apple Watch recently that has been launched, where you can really monitor your heartbeat, you can monitor your ECG, that is going to provide the ECG, is fall under medical devices. And that's why whenever somebody is going to wear Apple Watch, they have to undergo with such kind of a monitoring and investigation which is required to report to the regulatory authority. Coming to the products quality complaints management, this is one of the section where each and every medical device has to undergo for the investigation, for reporting, for monitoring, to understand that what exactly has happened to that particular device, which has caused the side effect. Giving an example, if I am using toothbrush, might be I will get a tear in my teeth, but that might be because of some teeth problem. I'm not going to report it. But if I am having some implants, some pacemakers, you must know that there is an expiry date for it. And the doctors do advise to come on a follow-up every quarterly or 6 monthly, because such devices are expected to cause certain side effects and we really have to look for it. I will take a pause before I will provide the opportunities, which is going to be a very, very interesting session. Any questions to know about more about medical devices? This is just an overview and very brief of medical devices. Any questions, guys? You are open to write in the chat window, and I will happy to assist you with. Otherwise, I will just move on the opportunities, which is the most interesting one, considering the current industry, the moving career in MDT. Okay, I guess no. So when you say the career in opportunities in the medical devices, being pharmacist, being a doctor, being coming from any background, even the engineering background, we do have the very, very great career in medical device industries. And to start with, either you want to go into the regulatory affairs and regulatory operations, that is something you really get into. Mr. Limaye has just shared, few thoughts about this one. Same applies for regulatory as well. However, 510K submission, PMA submission, that is something the FDA requirement, but you can really get into it. Then coming to the contact center, product quality complaint, medical inquiries pertaining to this one. So you really get into the industry if you really want to make your career in contact center, connecting with worldwide people, attaining the good accent neutralization, providing them the investigation. So there you being the B farm and M farm, your knowledge about that particular devices come into the picture, and you will able to provide the assessment and evaluation. You also get into the medical writing part. You have to prepare DSURs, you have to prepare CERs, clinical evaluation reports, about any of the medical devices which falls under class 2 and class 3 segment. And any company, for say, giving an example, Johnson and Johnson, Philips, G Healthcare, Medtronic, Alcon, there most of the departments are having, there most of the products are having the fall into the medical device class 3 segment, where it is a mandate that if they want to market that drug, or if they continue market that drug in a specific reason, they have to submit a reports. So likewise pharmacovigilance, likewise medical affairs, parallelly you have a very strong career into medical device segment. Either it is regulatory affairs, medical writing, you want to write some scientific and regulatory documents, manuscripts, review articles. There you have to come up with a very brainstorming mind, where your each writing can be praised and appraised by the customers. So you can write an article, okay, how this device can be worked out, what are the side effects, what's the best uses, what can be follow up, how soon you can show to the doctors. That way you have a good career as a writer as well, regulatory writer or scientific writer or a medical writer. Now coming into the post-marketing surveillance of devices. So once they are into the market, we have to assess whether they are safe or effective, just like any pharma product, right? So there you really need to come up with a strong background of pharmacy or engineering, where you can create your own IPs, right? Intellectual properties, or you can provide support with the evaluation, assessment, monitoring, and overall criteria of that medical devices, how that is safe and effective. So opportunities, if I will say, into the pharma industry, into the medical device industry is absolutely same. It's just if you want to be a SME in pharma, you have to go into that particular area because they are just domain of products. But if it is medical devices, definitely it is everything. Either it is a food supplements, either it is something related to pacemakers, surgical instruments, or you prepare something that is related to your health, right? Some interventions. Recently, because of COVID, every home is having a pulse oximeter. But are you aware how safe and how accurate that data is? Some local companies keep coming in without taking any approval, and then they are marketing those pulse oximeter just for $700 to $2,000, right? And whenever we see there is a fluctuation of those pulses, and we really wonder if that reading is really accurate or not. So there comes into the picture of this FDA regulations, that if we have to get the approval from there, definitely you have a plus signs. And if being a medical device expert, you are able to let us know, okay, this is a Chinese brand, or this is an India brand, or this is a US brand, or this company has undergone multiple trials before putting that into the market. So that's how even a stature is a medical device, right? But some statures are very loose and filthy that people can fall, right? Some irregularity, but some stature are very smooth, like Omron. Omron is a very, everybody has heard about Omron, OMRON. And that's company always attain regulatory approvals before putting any class 2 and class 3 devices into the market. And that's why they are the one which are greatly authorized, right? Coming to Siemens or BD, right? Becton Dixon. BD syringes are coming in 5 ml, 2 ml, or 1 ml, or 10 ml. Their syringes are always safe and effective to use in any patient kind. But likewise, other small units, small manufacturer companies come into the picture, and they are coming up. So medical device industry is booming in last 3 to 4 years. And to your surprise, now European Union and US FDA has come up very specific rules and regulation which needs to follow if you are into a medical device industry. So either you want to go into the regulatory affairs area, or pharmacovigilance, or product quality complaint, or medical affairs, you have to choose either pharma industry or medical device, or both, because as I mentioned, both are having same kind of a job role. It's just the products are same and the regulations are different, right? So I will take a pause over here to address any questions before I hand over to the team.
Yes. Hello. Participants,
Yeah, I'm
do you have
here.
any question? Madam, I have one question from my side.
Yes, please.
Is all about what kind of approvals are necessary when there is a medical devices.
Okay, so what happens? Three classes are there, 1, 2, and 3. So one does not need any regulations like toothbrush, thermometer, any company can give it. Coming to class 2, which are MRIs and CT scan, they have to just submit the 510K, right, which is a pre-approved submission to US FDA that your drugs are safe and effective. That can be done. Third is the PMA. PMA submission is critical, which is the mandate from FDA, and you have to submit if you are preparing any or manufacturing any class 3 device, which are pacemakers or implants or something that is life threatening and that oriented. So there you have to undergo multiple clinical trials, like specific indication, specific treatment, phase wise, 1, 2, 3 phase, and you have to submit those particular data and reports to regulatory authority. So that calls a PMA, pre-marketing authorization.
Okay.
So PMA and 510K, these are the two important submissions that is mandate for attaining approval for any medical devices to get marketed.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request Riddhi Satpute. Riddhi Satpute, am I audible? Yes, Riddhi. Okay, I think there is an internet issue. She wished to give live feedback about your presentation, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, any more question from faculty members and students? If you wish, if you have any question, you can put it in a chat box. Okay, okay. Thank you all. So thank you so much, madam, for this fabulous and in-depth explanation of medical devices. Thank you for sparing your valuable time. Thank you.
My
again.
pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. So all the participants now, if you look at our schedule, at 2 o'clock, there is an alumni talk. The 4 alumni which have passed out from MITWPU and who have completed this certificate course from MITWPU are joining us. They wish to share their experience, what they learned from MITWPU. So I request all of you that the morning session is over now, and we are going to meet exact at 1:45 in the afternoon session. Thank you all. So hereby I declare the morning session is over. So in the afternoon session, we have alumni talk, we have CTD competition, then we have a result declaration and some excellent, we can call it as announcement for all of you, special announcement for all the participants as well as winner from MITWPO after result at the time of result declaration. So I request you all to join exact at 1:45 for afternoon session. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you, Sakshi ma'am.
Welcome.
Hello.
22 लोक त्याला ऍड आहेत. माझं मग बंदच आहे की काय? मग माझं माईक बंद
Hello, ma'am.